Hi guys, this is our next lesson and it's on simple quadratic equations. We did a little bit of factorising, but now what we're actually looking at is solving them, it's a bit of a different beast. There's a few things that we need to take into account. But for those of you that can't remember, what is a quadratic equation? A quadratic equation is an equation where the highest power of the variable is 2. In other words, the highest power of the unknown is 2. So the maximum number that you're going to see is a squared. All right. And the quadratic equation x squared equals c, where c is a positive number, has two solutions, plus minus the square root of c. Now that's a really fancy way of saying there are two numbers that when you square them will equal 16. Okay. We know 4 times 4, which is 4 squared, equals 16. But a lot of people forget that minus 4, or negative 4 times negative 4, which is negative 4 in brackets squared, also equals 16. So if we have to find a solution to this problem here, there are actually two solutions that will satisfy, or two answers that will satisfy this. But let's backtrack a little bit. What's the opposite of a square? Well, the opposite of a square is a square root. So if I want to find what y is, I have to square root both sides. So the square root of 16, I'll just rewrite it down here. Y equals the square root of 16, which equals, because we know it could be minus 4, it could also be positive 4, plus minus 4. Now, I hope you understand that idea, that a negative number squared and a positive number squared will both result in a positive answer. Down here, if we have one like this, though, we can't do anything until we get rid of the coefficient of a, because that is going to ruin it. So what we can do is we can say, divide both sides by 5, divide both sides by 5, and we end up, they cancel out, we end up with a squared equals 245 divided by 5. So off the top of my head, that's 49. And now we know, well, how do we get rid of the squared? Well, we square root both sides. So that cancels that out. A is plus minus the square root of 49, which is 7. Because minus 7 squared times 5 will equal that. Also positive 7 squared times 5 will equal 7. Last one here, this is pretty much the same thing. We need to get rid of all of these coefficients on this divisor here, so it's times by 5, times by 5. You should be getting quite good at this now. We end up with 3h squared is 26 times by 5, which is 130. I just had a moment of panic. Yeah, that's it. And then we divide by 3. They cancel out, they cancel out. And so what we end up with is h squared equals, and we'll notice here that 3 doesn't divide nicely into this. Okay, so we've got, that ends up being 42, I should say 43 and a third, or 43.3. So, you know what? Because we have one of these magnificent calculators, we don't have to think too much. We just know that if I want to square root 130 on 3, I can do it. H equals square root of 130 on 3 equals 6.528 ... or 6.582 decimal. Nice and easy like.